Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. Have you ever felt that it's actually the small moments on stage that speak louder than the big performance itself? Not the ones filled with spotlight, not the ones that are carefully planned, but the spontaneous moments that last only a fraction of a second, yet leave a much longer impression. In Mexico City, Day 3 of the BTS World Tour ARIRANG, the soundcheck session turned into something far beyond a regular rehearsal. From the very beginning, the atmosphere in the stadium already felt different. The rain that had been falling since the afternoon didn't reduce the excitement. Instead, it added a dramatic tone that made the entire stadium area feel like a living stage. Lights reflected on the wet surface, a thin mist lingered in the air, and the voices of fans who had been waiting for so long blended into an atmosphere that felt closer, warmer, and more genuine. In the middle of that unfriendly weather, the BTS members still stepped onto the stage with steady energy. There were no visible signs of exhaustion, only a professionalism that has become deeply ingrained. For them, soundcheck is not just a technical rehearsal, but a space to align rhythm, communication, and energy before the main concert begins. One of the members who stood out the most from the very start was Jimin. He appeared very active, moving across the stage from one side to the other in a relaxed yet mindful way. He waved in different directions, as if making sure no corner of the stadium was left without his warm greeting to ARMY. Jimin's interactions didn't stop there. He repeatedly sent small gestures that felt deeply personal, blowing kisses toward the audience, forming heart shapes with his hands, and smiling even as the rain continued to fall. These simple actions became the most memorable moments. It gave the impression that he was truly present emotionally, enjoying every second even during a soundcheck. On the other side of the stage, Jungkook showed a different kind of energy. He was more focused on technical details, following directions closely and ensuring every element of the performance was executed properly. His movements were more controlled, yet still carried the intensity of a performer who is fully accustomed to large stages. However, even within that focus, small moments still emerged naturally. Several times, Jimin and Jungkook crossed paths on stage. There were no major interactions, just brief eye contact, subtle changes in expression, or small gestures that could easily be missed if not carefully observed. No dialogue, no script, just spontaneous moments that lasted only seconds. And that is exactly where the appeal lies. For fans who pay attention to details, these brief moments seem to carry their own language. As if there is an understanding built from years of standing on the same stage together, without needing words to explain it. Amid the professional flow of rehearsal, the dynamics between members continued naturally. Nothing felt forced or staged. Everything happened organically, like habits formed over a long period of time. This made the soundcheck feel alive, not just a technical process. When Jimin passed close to Jungkook, or when both of them stood within very close proximity, the atmosphere became something hard to ignore. There was a closeness that didn't need explanation, something shaped by their long history as performers sharing the same stage. Still, everything remained within a professional context. Soundcheck is not a space for anything beyond stage preparation. It is an essential part of concert readiness. Every movement and position still serves a purpose, every interaction still follows the same working rhythm. The rain in Mexico City that day became an additional element that strengthened the atmosphere. The sound of falling water blended with music from the sound system, creating a unique audio background. Stage lights reflecting on the wet floor added a dramatic visual effect, while the small cheers from fans injected energy into the rehearsal. Among all these large elements, it was the small details that drew the most attention. Spontaneous gestures, subtle changes in expression, or brief interactions that lasted only moments often became the most discussed highlights afterward. Not because they were big or dramatic, but because they felt honest and natural. This Day 3 soundcheck also showed another side of BTS, more relaxed, more natural, yet still fully dedicated. There was space to breathe outside the pressure of the main concert, but still within the same strong standard of professionalism. If we go back to the previous day's concert moment, one thing becomes clear again: not all truths come from big moments. Often, It is the small, almost accidental details that reveal the most honest picture of a dynamic. A brief touch, a passing glance, or a shift in expression lasting less than a second can carry deeper meaning than long explanations. In some instances, simple moments like someone touching Jimin's hair also drew attention. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, but upon closer observation, there was a subtle shift in his body language, a sign that he maintains a clear sense of personal boundaries. This wasn't an overreaction, but rather a consistent preference for comfort seen across different situations. Interestingly, Jimin's response can vary depending on the situation and the people around him. In some contexts, he appears more reserved. However, in certain moments with Jungkook, the atmosphere feels more relaxed and natural, without tension or noticeable changes in body language. Everything flows effortlessly, as if it is something very familiar. Meanwhile, RM and the other members also shape the stage dynamics in ways that indirectly influence positions and interactions. On a crowded stage, small positional shifts happen naturally, without special meaning, yet they still create visually interesting patterns when observed. On the other hand, Jungkook often appears very spontaneous yet consistent in his responses. There are moments when he seems to notice subtle changes around Jimin, or holds his gaze slightly longer in certain situations. None of this looks planned. It feels more like natural reactions that happen on their own. In the end, that day's soundcheck was not just about preparing for a concert. It became a reminder that professionalism, habit, and small interactions can blend together without needing many words. In the middle of the rain in Mexico City, the stage lights, and the echoing music, we are reminded once again that not everything needs to be big to leave a deep impression. Because sometimes, the most meaningful things are found in small, unintentional moments. The way they stand on the same stage, the way they pass by each other, and the way a moment feels different without needing any explanation. That's it for this Jikook Moments episode. If you have your own thoughts about these moments, feel free to share them in the comments. See you in the next video.